Alright, now I'm back for part two. Part two of my Once Upon a Time review. And I think I don't really know where I left off. I think it was something to do with Henry and how mad at me and how angry I got at him and the fact that nobody listens to him. Because he's actually pretty wise. I mean, yeah, he's got his kid. He's a kid, so he's going to have the naiveness and the rashness and the not being able to think everything through and see the bigger picture, but that's being a kid. He's a kid who knows his entire town is fairy tale characters. You know, cut the kid some slack. Emma, as a whole, Emma is called the Savior. And she was kind of written in by Rumpelstiltskin that way, to be the Savior. Which I think was very... It was very smooth, the way he did that. The way he created the spell and got all the loopholes in it and got everything lined up just so. But really, all he could count on was the hope that her parents' genes ran very strong through her, and that, you know, she would come back on her 20th birthday and start changing things and stay for Henry and go up against Regina and all of this. Like, everything that he seemed to want to happen, in a sense, was basically because she chose to do it. But he didn't make her choose to do it. Yeah, sometimes he kind of backed her into a wall a little bit, applied some pressure. But she chose her own path. And so I like that. And I like how Emma's kind of hesitant about that. Because she's like, you know, I'm not special. Nothing about me is special. I'm just written in to be a savior because he wanted it that way. You know, he wanted to give me that name, but maybe I'm just that. Maybe I'm just the name of being a savior. I'm not an actual savior. So I like that in that sense. She's so... you know, am I really as good as they think I am? Because obviously she is. Duh. And but I like her in the sense, yeah, I know I'm rambling about her. I like her in the sense that she does kick ass. You know, she does kick ass. She does take names. She does forge her way ahead. She's not very princess-like in that sense. But, you know, and the fact that you see that she does have a past and that she is this, she used to be a criminal and she used to, you know, I don't know, she's human, you know, she, in amongst all these fairy tale happy endings or lack thereof, before the curse broke, but amidst all these fairy tale characters, and the fact that her parents are like the pinnacle of what true love is and a happily ever after ending is. You know, she's this person that is made up of flaws and of walls and of insecurities and of hurt and pain and sadness from being abandoned as a child. And her experiences because of that, as consequence of that, and the path that her life took. So, I get where she's coming from. I sympathize with her a whole lot. I'm not saying that she never makes mistakes, because she does. But I like my characters with flaws in them. And she has her fair few, and I like that about her. When it comes to Henry's father, Neil, I have a feeling he's going to be back. Pretty much because it's all been pointing that way, that he's coming back, or he will be back. And that's fine. He can come back and they can sort out their issues. But I really don't want them together. And it's not because I want Emma with somebody else, even though I do like her. Even though I maybe not necessarily like her to be with him forever, but like, her and Hook really just need to have like angry sex and get it over with. It's all they need to do. Because they have that chemistry. They do. And the way I see it with Henry's dad is that, you know, I mean, I get that he left her because August or Pinocchio or whatever you want to call him, told him that if he stayed with her, he was like he was making it so she couldn't fulfill her destiny. And you know, I get that he was trying to be a bigger person in the sense of the bigger picture, was trying to be like, make sure that the bigger picture could be taken care of. And I just, it irritates me so bad. Because, like, I don't, even watching their story or whatever, I didn't really feel like they were healthy for each other, in the sense of, yeah, they could have been in love. Do I think it was true love? No. But there's a difference between true love and being in love with somebody. Not saying that one isn't as strong as the other, but true love is a lot harder to find. And being in love with somebody, especially at that age that she was when all this went down, is not as hard. You know, it is not as hard as some people, you know, as it can be made out to be. So that too, she was very young. She was like 17, 18, and I get it. I'm only 19, whatever. But she was, Tallahassee to me was like her pipe dream, was like her one shining ray of hope. And, you know, she was striving for it, but doing it in all the wrong ways. Like, they were thieves. They were like a Bonnie and Clyde type situation, only they didn't hold up joints and shoot people. They just robbed shit. Everybody. I mean, you know, when you meet your significant other by stealing his car and finding out that he had already stolen it once, probably is not going to set up a good foundation for a healthy, long-lasting, well-built foundation to a relationship. Okay, it's not long-lasting. So yeah, I don't really want, I mean, if he comes, yeah, I mean, because that's obviously something that they've opened now, so I would be upset if they didn't finish that and close that off and change that and make sure that it went right. But I don't want them to have a thing. I want to see Daddy Charming go ape shit on his ass. That's what I want to see. Like in that last scene, or one of the last scenes of this last episode that came out, when like Rumpelstiltskin walks in and he's like, yeah, you Emma, you know that deal we had? Well, I'm cashing in on it. And like Charming just like walks up and he's like puffs out his chest and he's like kind of like tries to stand in front of her a little bit, just a little bit. And it's just like, Daddy Charming's coming out now. Okay, because he's got to protect his little girl. And I just love that. I love that because somehow they have made me think, I don't know if it's the writing or if it's the actors, it might be really good acting, or a combination of the both, that when I watch this, I really do, even though they're all basically the same age looking like, I don't for a minute doubt that they are her parents, that is her daddy and that's her mom, and I like that. Even when Henry calls him Grandpa or Gramps, you know, sure, he looks about 30 at most 30, and I'm like, of course that's how it goes. So yeah, what else? The Huntsman, I have him written down, and he's like the third on my list. The sheriff, the old sheriff, or the Huntsman, is, we find out who he is. I think it's really interesting that he is the first person to start remembering. Because from early on, I got the fact that Rumpelstiltskin knew who he was and knew what the curse had happened and everything, because obviously he created it. So you're not going to create something that you're going to be a victim to. I mean, obviously he was a victim in the sense that it got him to where he wanted to be, but this is where he wanted to be because he wanted to find Faye. So, and I found out, I figured out Regina knew probably who she was, obviously, because she was the one that cast it. But I find it very interesting that he was the one that found it first, because in the flashbacks he's described as this guy with no heart, because he was raised by wolves or whatever. Blah. And, you know, he's this, you know, they call him like a pansy and everything else like that, because he cries over when he kills things, and more power to him, because I cry when I hit a frog with my car accidentally, okay? It's traumatic. Couldn't imagine if I actually had to kill something to eat it. I'd die of starvation. But the fact that he remembers first, and that I feel like him and Emma could have had a really good thing if the Queen hadn't been a bitch and killed him. But anyway, and the wolf with the red eye, I don't know if I found symbolism in that when there wasn't meant to be, but like the fact that one eye was red and one eye was like black. Like usually when you think of wolves, they're like, or animals, they're like black eyes, or, you know, really dark brown, you know, they're darker. But the fact that this one was red, I just felt like that meant he could see, like, I don't know, like that gave him the power to see things beyond what they seemed on the surface, because like, he saw through the Queen's act when he was sent to kill Snow White. And he saw that she was actually a good person and that she was innocent and freed her, and then helped save Charming to help find Snow or whatever. So like, I feel like that is his thing, is that he is able to see past things, past how they look, and see the bigger picture, or see the layers underneath that people are trying to hide. And so I think it was really interesting that the wolf with you know, the eyes, and the eyes were really the first thing he started to remember. And then he started to, you know, think of, where's my heart at? You know, I need to find my heart, and I need, yeah. So I just found it really interesting that he figured it out first. Because I'm running out of time again. Damn, how do I talk so much? Regina, I don't feel bad for her, but I don't hate her either. It's a very weird situation I find myself in with her, because I don't hate her. Like, I sympathize with her in some respects, because her mother is an evil little cunt. That is all she is. But I don't, I think she, in a way, chose her path. And yeah, it didn't help that she had Rumple whispering in her ear, alright? That didn't help her at all. But, like, in a lot of ways, I feel like she chose her path. And yeah, do I get that she was trying to change? Yes. But sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes the wanting to change and the love being why you want to change for somebody isn't enough. And it's sad when that is. But with, like, any type of addiction, because I kind of see her power-hungry magic addiction as an addiction. And sometimes it's not enough. And you fall into old habits. And ultimately her salvation and her bane is her love for Henry. And, you know, it's her double-edged sword in a way. Or her double-sided sword, I guess, in a way. So yeah, I feel like, in a lot of ways, she kind of is creating her own hell. But yeah, I think that's about it. That's all I've got, really. So, that was my review for Once Upon a Time. I will see you again when new episodes air, and I will make sure to take actual good notes as I'm going along. Thank you for watching, and as always, please comment and like. Thank you.